Helping Seniors Television, all about improving quality of life for seniors. If you're a senior, know a senior, or plan to be a senior, then this show is for you. It's all about helping you develop your own aging plan so you can age actively and with dignity. Helping Seniors Television from the Helping Seniors Network of information, education, and resources.
I'm Kerry Fink, and welcome to Helping Seniors TV. This is the education and information, and today it's a fun arm of everything we get to do in the Helping Seniors 100% local to Brevard County nonprofit. You know, usually we're talking about important topics that we would call making your aging plan. And one of the things about making an aging plan, and I think it's fair to toss in here, is you got to enjoy life. And one of the things that makes life enjoyable is the ability to travel. And a lot of times seniors may say, well, I don't know, can I really travel safely and travel effectively? And from the Helping Seniors side, let me tell you, absolutely. You're going to learn a lot in this show because we have with us as our special guest today, Chris Morse, who is actually the executive director for the Helping Seniors Travel Club. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
And even as a wonderful opportunity to speak with Tom Muldoon, who is with MSC Cruises, who has been a wonderful partner for some of the things that we've done in the Helping Seniors Travel Club. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
So, Chris, let's kind of like set the stage if we can. I met you when we were literally in the first incarnation of the Helping, this is all pre-COVID, right? Well, we were in the first incarnation of the Helping Seniors Resource Center, and you came in and you spoke with Joe Steckler, our founder, and myself, and said, Kerry, we can make this fun for seniors to travel, and we can turn this into a fundraiser for the Helping Seniors organization. And as we started talking, you talked a little bit about, I love a line, I love to say this about Chris. He said, I've been doing travel since dinosaurs roamed the earth. Right. Talk just for a second about your background, because this goes back into not dinosaur era, but you've been doing travel since the early 80s.
Yeah, we started out in 1982. And I did a lot of corporate travel and a lot of senior travel. A lot of the senior communities in Los Angeles, they had senior centers, sort of like they do here in Brevard County. And I would go and call on them, and we would get the seniors to take cruises, because cruising was kind of fun in those days, especially out of Los Angeles. And we built up a nice reputation, and then we moved to Florida to raise our granddaughter. And that's when you and I met, and we produced our very first Helping Seniors Brevard Foundation cruise, I think, just prior to COVID.
Yeah.
It was a smashing success. We had a plan for 2020, and COVID came along, and 21, COVID came along, and now we're back doing our Helping Seniors at Brevard Foundation cruises again. And we'd sure like to have folks come and join us. And the money does go to the foundation, which helps seniors who can't support themselves or have a immediate emergency problem to actually sit there and help and support them. So the money does go to a great foundation. And one of our fantastic vendors, cruise lines, has been MSC Cruises. We've raised over $10,000 for the foundation working with MSC. So thank you very much, Tom.
You're welcome, Chris.
You know, I want to get into a whole conversation about MSC and why personally we all enjoy the opportunity of working with MSC. It's such an innovative, right, cutting edge kind of cruise line. It's just so fascinating to watch. But I want to stay just for a moment on the Helping Seniors Travel Club, because what was interesting is as we were navigating all those things with COVID, and Joe Steckler, our president, he wanted to come up with a thing that he called Stay Connected, because if you remember, one of the challenges with that whole period was they told us, stay at home, you're not supposed to go out. And we were really isolated. And Joe was really concerned that we do best when we get out with people and we get to visit together. So he was really serious from the standpoint that as we can get back together, let's do this. And I remember you saying, but guys, why don't we do this on a cruise ship? He said, if we choose a cruise that sails in and out of Port Canaveral, which is what, now only the #1 cruise capital of the world now. Right. But if we could sail in and out, it's hometown. You don't have to get on an airplane, fly someplace. You don't have to even try to figure out, can you get a bus or a train down to Miami? You can just literally hop in a car with your friends, and in 20 minutes, you're at the port getting on the ship. And then the cool thing is, I remember you and I talked about this, when you meet people on the ship, which is always a wonderful experience when you're out, you just meet people and you become best friends on the ship. And then they fly back to Washington State and you guys become friends on Facebook and you're trading, grandkids pictures and things like that. But the cool thing is when we all sailed together out of Brevard County, everybody gets home and they say, yeah, we can share pictures of the grandkids, but we can also have lunch Wednesday, right? Together. And so it does that whole thing Joe was talking about, stay connected. And you were so far ahead of the curve about putting that together, because I want to talk for a minute about yours and Betty's specific experience as special needs certified. Because so often seniors say, oh, we love to travel, but I don't know if I can do that safely anymore. And you guys really love to take on that challenge to prove to them they're able to do a whole lot more than maybe they thought they could.
Right. And talking with seniors, especially today, a lot of seniors are concerned about diabetes, wheelchairs, walkers, canes, breathing machines, things like that. And if they're on those if they use those particular items, they feel like they can't go anywhere. They can't travel. They can't enjoy themselves. So what Betty and I try to do is we're special needs certified. So we go into the senior centers or talk to the seniors who call us, and we actually talk to them about what their specific needs are. What are their handicaps? How can we help them? And I'll tell you, booking travel is very business-like, very rote. But when those seniors come back off the cruise that we've helped them get on, that thought they could never, ever cruise or never enjoy, and we see the smile on their faces when they say, oh, Chris, thank you so much for getting me to come out and enjoy this cruise. It is so fantastic. It's such a heartwarming feeling. And so if they need a wheelchair, we have a wheelchair waiting for them in front of the cabin. If they need a walker, we do the same. If they need other equipment, we tell them how to go to like a special center and buy the equipment on their own so they don't have to rent it. So we're there for the seniors who think they can't travel again and really enjoy themselves. And it's such a heartwarming thing. And that's one of the things I love about the Helping Seniors Brevard Foundation cruises.
I was going to just say there's another aspect to this, because I know you've helped people travel independently. You're big you work with a lot of river cruises, a lot of theme cruises. You're involved in so many aspects of travel, even land packages. Yes. Which travel tour operators like to work with seniors, make accommodations so that it's safe and convenient for them to travel. But one of the real pluses that I love about how it's come together on the Helping Seniors cruises is that you get to travel when you come sailing on a Helping Seniors, one of our foundation cruises. You have your own personal travel agent on board. And I remember that was a philosophical discussion that we had early on, because I didn't realize that you could still work with travel agents. I know everybody was saying, oh, just go online, book your cruise, but it's complicated. And if anything comes up, you're on this 800 number trying to sort it out, and you're really on your own. Whereas one of the things that I've seen on the Helping Seniors cruise, you and Betty are right there, and you're able to help them navigate whatever's going on.
Yeah, and when you have a big group, like we have a big seniors group, say 30 or 40 people, one or two of those people are going to have something come up during the cruise.
Uh-huh.
And we don't want them to worry about it. We don't want them to fuss about it. They call us at our cabin or they meet us at dinner, and within half a day or half an hour or whatever it takes, the problem is solved, because we go right. We know who to go to, and the MSC especially is very, very good with customer service, and those people are actually taken care of, and they're so grateful for that, because normally speaking, if you had booked outside of our system or somewhere else, now you're at the front desk and you're unhappy, and sometimes you're screaming and you're doing things that aren't satisfactory, or something's not happening to you. That we're there. Betty and I are there to help on board the ship to take care of any problems. And going back to what you were saying, I've been on over 123 cruises, and I've met a lot of wonderful folks. But like you say, I live in Merritt Island now, and I meet somebody in Walla Walla, Washington. They're wonderful people, and we laugh together, and we have dinner together a couple of times. We might even go out to a specialty restaurant. But when we get home a couple of emails later, it all goes away. But in our cruises, you're going to meet somebody that actually could live down the street or across the street, like that lady that we had who was, what, 92 years old?
Yeah, that's
on
one of
board
my
the ship?
favorite
Yeah,
stories.
it is fantastic. Tell the story.
Yeah, I love this because this was kind of like the proof of concept, right?
Yes.
So the very first Helping Seniors cruise, there was think about this, a 92-year-old lady who was traveling by herself. And so, but this is the point. She wasn't by herself, right? Because she was there with 100 of her closest friends who were right there. You guys, she had her personal travel agents on board. And so nothing could have been finer. And it was just a wonderful time. So it proves that it's really, like I said, it's proof of concept that when you do it the right way, you're going to be able to travel and have that enjoyment. Because what are you going to do? You're going to sit at home, or you're going to get out there and enjoy all the things. And that was one of the things I really wanted to really have us talk a little bit with Tom about, because early on when you and I were talking about like who would be the right partner for us to be able to work with on this, and you'd had a long experience of working with MSC Cruises and knew the value that it represented. And, you know, even going back to some corporate days of ours, we had the same thing, but we have seen MSC just grow by leaps and bounds. And what a wonderful cruise. Everybody who came off of the last one that we did was just raving about how good getting on the ship was, how good getting off the ship was, how great the shows on board was, how great the restaurants were, how great. I'm saying what you must hear, but you've been with the cruise line for many years, so you've really seen them like really adapt and get aggressive about getting to the top of the market.
Well, it's true. You know, we are an Italian cruise line, a European cruise line, and you know, when we first started sailing over here, it was a very, very European product, even though it was sailing right out of Florida. So we realized we had to make some changes. We kind of Americanized it somewhat, but still keeping the great European flair and ambiance on board the ships. And it's really caught on. It's really caught on.
You know, I think that's one of the first comments, because to me, Chris, it's fun when we get to introduce somebody to MSC. Maybe they've cruised a lot, maybe they've never cruised before, but almost universally, the first thing when they step on an MSC ship is they're like, wow, this place is beautiful. Talk about that. There's some statistics. I've always joked that Italians seem to have a flair for, like, they're the ones that came up with Ferraris and things that look great. So that obviously it translates into the cruise world too.
Yeah, well, we have some amazing designers that design our ships. We have multiple different classes of ships with all different designs, depending on whether you want a smaller ship or a larger ship. So I would really put our ships up against anybody's ships. I mean, they're very elegant, very opulent, just beautiful works of art that you're sailing on. It's they're really a destination unto themselves.
Yeah, it's so true. And there was a thing that happens. Everybody gets on board. They go to that atrium and they see that staircase. Talk about that staircase. And they all want their photos made there.
Well, it's true. We have a great relationship with Swarovski crystal, and our ships have these beautiful Swarovski crystal staircases running up. They're $5,000 a step. They're just beautiful. They're right in the main atrium as well as in our yacht club area. So people just love to have their photographs taken on the Swarovski crystal staircase, just because they glow and glitter and just look beautiful. It's a great spot for a photo.
Oh, it is. You know, and that's a point that you brought up when you mentioned Yacht Club. Another thing that I love about our ability to work together with MSC, because first of all, you're really helping us as a charity. You know, Chris, we've talked about this before. When you architected how this program was going to work, you said you really wanted to not have people have an internet experience, which means you see a lead price and you click that button, and then they start adding things from there. Oh, you've got to have these fees. These need to be part of that fare. And then you click because you want the drink package, and then you click because you want the Wi-Fi package, and then you click because you want to prepay your gratuities. And by the time you've packed all that stuff together, the price doesn't look anything near that lead-in price. And you took the opposite approach. You said, I'm going to put everything together, negotiate for the best possible price. And as we've had to say to people, so we don't, when it's a foundation cruise raising money for the cruise line, it's not like we're running around the ship twisting people's arms saying, you got to donate to Helping Seniors. You made that part of the package too.
Right. And it's so good when a senior can say, what does this include? I say, includes everything. Includes the taxes, port charges, the cabin, the beverage package, which includes water and specialty coffees and juices that you can't get normally, gratuities, Wi-Fi if you want it, and travel insurance. We all package it together. And the travel insurance for seniors is quite expensive, but we're able to bundle it all together and save the seniors a lot of money because MSC has a great program for us. And then the donations come back to Helping Seniors at Bavard Foundation. We don't add it on, it's coming back from MSC Cruises. So it's a wonderful way to cruise, wonderful way to raise money for the foundation.
Yeah, this is a true story, which I thought was funny. I was actually relating this morning. I said, we had actually a couple was with us on the last cruise, and everybody went home so happy. And it was like toward the 5th or 6th day of the cruise, and they came up to us at the dinner table and said, you know, we're having a great time, and we almost didn't do this. I said, why not? She said, I really thought this was a scam.
Oh, yes.
She goes, the price was so good, and you said you would include all these things, but it really is true. And it was the most interesting comment I think I probably ever heard since we've been doing the program.
Right.
But so she was like, we're all in. It's terrific.
Yeah, we just try to bundle everything. And if there's some seniors that we know that are strapped because of, say, their monthly income, we can also do like what I call a budget cruise, where we take all of those things away that they may not need to be able just to come on the cruise and enjoy the Helping Seniors programs. Because on our ships, as you know, Tom and Kerry, we also do some seminars on board the ship. We do have a meet and greet cocktail party. And on occasion, depending on the population of the cruises, we bring our own entertainment on board the ship. So it's been a wonderful situation for the Helping Seniors of Bavard Foundation, with the thanks of MSC Cruises, of course.
And Tom, one of the things I wanted to get into is because I know when Chris puts these packages together, you know, people have their choice. Some people say, listen, I'm going to be out on deck all the time. I want to be part of the party. Just give me an inside cabin, get me on the ship in the cheapest possible way. Other people are like, no, I want the balcony. I want the finest balcony. But what's really cool is you have something called Ship Within a Ship called the Yacht Club. So for those people who are really like the high-end travelers, they get like world-class treatment. Talk about the Yacht Club.
Well, the Yacht Club's amazing. So it's basically a luxury product on board a contemporary cruise ship. It's a big block of suites up on the front of the ships on the higher decks. You have to have key card access just to get into the area itself. You have butler service. You have concierge service. You've got your own fine dining restaurant within the Yacht Club, your own lounge within the Yacht Club, a huge area on top of the ship with a pool and jacuzzis and lounge chairs and cabanas, a buffet, again, just for the Yacht Club guests. So it's really for the people who are looking for an elevated experience but sailing on a contemporary cruise ship.
Yeah, I love it. It's really what a great thing. And you've had, Chris, many people who have said, listen, you know, for us, the cost isn't really objective. We want to get the finest service, and they'll book on the Helping Seniors cruise, but say, we're going to go Yacht Club.
Yeah, and the reason why the customers like the Yacht Club on MSC is because if they book the other cruise lines, they sort of get like a regular cabin with all the accessories, you know, the private lounge, the restaurants, and all of that. But on MSC, you don't get the regular cabin. You get a deluxe, beautiful cabin, all inclusive inside. Everything's included, and it's a whole different area on the ship. It's wonderful, and you can go down and visit and eat at the other restaurants if you want. But boy, I tell you, the restaurant in the Yacht Club, I've been there a few times, is as good or better than the specialty restaurants on board the ship.
Well, and that's a whole thing too by itself. You guys have really made the ship a destination. I mean, you know, people say, well, maybe I've been to these ports of call before. Really doesn't matter because the ship has so many things. You talk about specialty restaurants, shows, different things going on.
Well, it's true. I mean, if you're sailing out of Florida and you're going out for 3, 4, or 7 days, there's only so far you can go. You know, if you go on a consistent basis, you're going to hit the same ports.
Yeah.
So the ship has really become a destination unto itself. I mean, they're beautiful with the beautiful lounges and bars and specialty restaurants and all the other activities. So even if you've been to Nassau 50 times, you can still go on and take a 3-night cruise to Nassau on our private island Ocean Key and enjoy the ship as well.
You know, and that's a point. You just said a key word there, Ocean Key.
Yes.
Listen, you know, most of the cruise lines are out there. They tout they have a private island. You know, one of the things that I admire about MSC is that you've really taken a conservation view. I think you guys are busy making sure that the ships are as clean and green as they can possibly be. But not only do you do that with the ships, but you proved something, I think, to the world because you took something that was one time a garbage dump in the Bahamas and you restored it to be the Ocean Key. I think they call it the Ocean Key Marine Reserve. So it's a private island, but it shows that you can bring back the reef. You can bring back all this if we treat the environment the right way. Talk about that island.
Yeah, well, the story is amazing. We purchased, well, we leased this island from the Bahamas for 99 years, and we leased this specific island because it already had a channel dug in where our ships could come in. But the island itself, it had a silica processing facility on it that had gone out of business. They left tons of junk on the island, and they just left it. And then other boats would come by and see the island as kind of a dump and dump their stuff on it. So when we took possession of the island, we spent almost 4 years cleaning it up. And we took 7,500 tons of junk material off of the island, out of the waters around the island. We planted 75,000 trees and bushes and shrubs and grasses, all indigenous to the Bahamas. And we actually did such a good job cleaning it up that the Bahamian government came in and said that we're going to designate this island as a marine reserve.
Wow.
So it's not just a kind of a cool, trendy name. It's actually a marine reserve, and you can't harvest anything in the 64 square miles around the island. And the island's beautiful. It's doesn't have a water park or pools or anything like that on it. It's just a beautiful Bahamian island with 8 different beaches and palm trees and shade and beautiful crystal clear blue water and a lot of fun.
You know, that was a point I was going to bring up, is like a lot of times you go to a cruise line's private island, you almost feel like you walked into a water park over at Orlando or something. Whereas the whole, I think what makes that place so special is that you were true to the environment, and it makes it just a really unusual, pleasant experience. And it's fun when everybody goes out in the morning and they come back at dinner time and they tell, we found this beach over here. Did you know about this corner over here? Some people love to go over to the lighthouse. Some people say, no, I went over to the lagoon and I got to swim around in the lagoon. There's so many neat things to do on that island.
Yeah, it's just amazing. You know, just with the 8 different beaches and the fact that we've incorporated, you know, food trucks and bathroom facilities and bar facilities at every single beach, so you never have to walk far for any of those things. And again, just the abundance of water sports, the snorkeling, the kayaking, the paddle boarding, renting jet skis, all those different things you can do. Or you can just pull up a lounge chair and lay on a beach and get some sun and relax.
Yeah, it's great. And, you know, that's the thing that's interesting, too, about MSC is, like, while it's the home for what we do with the Helping Seniors, Travel Club Cruises, this is a worldwide cruise line. So when you're ready to go tour the Mediterranean, why not go with the people who basically know the Mediterranean best, the Italians, right? But you have cruises all over the world, and so many different ships, big ships, smaller ships.
We do. We actually have 23 ships in our fleet right now. We're the leading cruise line in Europe and South America, where we carry more guests than any other cruise line. But we do a lot of different itineraries all throughout the Mediterranean, Eastern and Western, including the Greek Isles, Rome, Sicily. We do the Baltic capitals, so we're going into places up in Northern Europe where we're doing the British Isles. We sail out of Dubai, so South America. So we do have a presence worldwide.
Yeah, and so what's wonderful too is you have a really, I think, spectacular. You call it the Voyagers Club. So like the more you sail, the more perks you're getting too.
That's true. So the Voyagers Club is our repeat passenger program, and every time you sail, you earn points, and then you can move up to different levels. And as you move up to these different levels, you get more and more perks when you go and sail with us. We also have a great program called Status Match, and what that basically is if you've never sailed with us before, and maybe you're loyal to another cruise line, if you show us your loyalty at that other cruise line and what level you're at there, and you come and sail with us, we'll match you up with the Voyagers Club and bring you in at a comparable level and give you perks, even though you've never sailed with us before. So it's a great way to bring new customers onto the line.
I love it. That's worked on the airline programs too. You know, maybe you spent a lifetime building up miles on one carrier, and so you're hesitant to give somebody else a shot.
Exactly.
What a great way to do that. Chris, that applies when somebody books into a Helping Seniors Foundation cruise too, right? If they have perks in some other line,
Absolutely.
They can talk to you about that, right?
I normally ask if they have perks on other cruise lines, and if they do, then I tell them how to do it. And if they can't do it because they're seniors, sometimes it's harder on the computers, Betty will actually take them through it and get them the perks that they get. And some of the perks include a 5% discount off your cruise, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And I don't know of any other cruise line that offers money off the cruise. They'll offer amenities, but MSC, so far as I know, is the only one that offers a discount in dollars off the cruise on their particular program. So the Voyagers Club is wonderful. I think it really helps the seniors, and I like it because it does make MSC a really good value, and that's what we're trying to do at the Helping Seniors Brevard Foundation, give a wonderful value to all the folks here in Brevard County.
Yeah, I mean, we often talk about, particularly for seniors, even when they've planned well, and there is a point where you're reaching like, okay, we're fixed income. So every dollar we spend matters, and we need to get the most value. We still want to do all the fun things and travel. And that's one of the things I really like about what you've been able to do with the Helping Seniors Travel Club. So I want to make sure that we have a minute for people to learn some more resources. Now, in our case, the Helping Seniors Travel Club.com, that's the website that you want to keep in mind. Helping Seniors Travel Club.com. It's got information about Chris and Betty and a lot of the different travel things that you can access. And for sure, you're going to find about the current Helping Seniors Travel Club program that's available, helpingseniourstravelclub.com. But I want to ask you, Tom, too. Suppose somebody isn't familiar, that the first time we ever heard of MSC years ago is we saw one of those trucks driving up and down the highway, and then somebody told us it's the world's largest freight line too. So, but if they don't know about MSC, what's a good way for people to learn about it?
Well, I think really the best way is you can go right to MSCCruisesusa.com, right to our website, and you can learn a lot about MSC. But we also have a YouTube channel, and we have videos on all of our ships. We have an incredible video on the making of Ocean Key and how that was all put together. It's amazing. There's also another documentary on Netflix about it as well.
Cool.
So there's a lot of different places you can gain information, but for seeing some videos on the ships and things like that, YouTube is a great spot as well as our website.
Good. Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Tom, for joining us. That's the time we have today for Helping Seniors TV. As you would say, let's go cruising.
I'm Joe Steckler. Thank you for joining our program today. I'd like to remind you that our senior information line is available to you at 321-473-7770. There you can get help and direction that could be helpful for your specific situation or circumstances. The work of helping seniors is very important, but we can't do it alone. That is why our sponsors here in Brevard County are so important. I'd like to thank our many area sponsors, businesses, and medical providers who support the mission of helping seniors that help us carry the cost of our media efforts. If you'd like to join us either as a business partner or simply donate as an individual, we welcome your call at 321-473-7770. You are always welcome to visit our website at www.helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. Thanks so much for your help. It does make a difference.